Good evening, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. I wanted to talk about Nanay's choice of the piece of land that she feels is going to be okay for Alfred to build a house on. Now, a lot of comments came in, not too many on actually talking about whether a house can be built where Nanay chose. But the strip of land there is between what is owned by the mayor, right, and a path, and just the other side of the path on the mayor's side is open, is for Nanay, and her land goes right down to the creek. And of course it slopes very steeply down to the creek, and so somebody said, you can't build a house there, it's impossible. And that's not true. So we've been working out a way in which a house could be built there. If a retaining wall was built all the way down to the bridge and then along the side of the creek, all that land can be cleared, and then with some infill we can level it out and then we can build a house. This is being done all the time. Along the way into Talia'S, you will see that the road, the side of the road on the way into Talia'S, the side of the road in a lot of parts drops off very steeply. And from time to time you'll see that it's had several tons, look like chocolate hills, mini chocolate hills, several tons of infill of soil has been dropped at the side of the road, just off the road, and it just sits there for a while because that costs money. It's about 1,000 pesos, roughly 1,000, between 700 and 1,100 depending on what material you actually have, and that's a cube of material will be dropped. So the Philippine way is to start something, take it as far as you can, and then wait until you get some more money. It's a thing that has worked very well for people who are OFWs. They'll send 20 or 30 or 40,000 hard-earned cash that they've saved. They'll send it to a trusted relative who will start the work. As you can hear, our friends the dogs have all started work for the night. So with the problem of building a house there, it really isn't such a big problem. It's a big problem to someone who is an expat, because they'll be going around and they'll be looking for $1 million piece of land. Now, there were reasons why the piece of land that they were offered at first, which could have been easily cleared, there was very little clearing to be done, and it had a tremendous view, and it was quite close. I mean, just I don't know, 200 feet of the road that we put in for Rado. So it had easy access. It was a little bit around the houses, but it was there and it could be done. From that point you could actually see all of everybody else's houses, the compound that we all live in right now, and you could see all of that. But Nizel didn't like it because it had the potential of having someone else give her some unwanted attention, and he will remain nameless, okay? And it wasn't Manarado, okay? So they decided that, she decided that, Mom, I really wouldn't want to live here. So she wants to live more in with the folk here, boys and girls and people that she goes into school with, and she just walks into school together, and so it's a much happier child thing. Well, that brought us then to the piece of land that Nanay felt that she could let Alfred have as a building plot. there's absolutely no reason why she should let Alfred do anything. Now, people tend to complicate this straight away. Someone said, Nanay should go to a lawyer, she should have a paper written up, and she should sign over the rights of that land to Alfred, and come on, you know, you're not being reasonable. That's not going to happen. As a gesture of goodwill, Nanay said, that piece of land you could build a house on. Now, thinking about the house that Nanay had lived in up to a few months ago, that she had lived in for nearly 50 years and brought up 10 children, why would she even think for a moment that you couldn't build a house there? When her husband, Beth's father, built the house that they lived in, there was nothing here, and she was just 17 years old and pregnant. So let's not make an impossible problem out of this, because my point when we looked around and Alfred said, how can I can't build a house here. And I said, Rado could build a house here in 2 weeks. And I tell you this, I would put money on it that he could. They built the house for Jessica in a couple of weeks, if that. So, Filipino ingenuity and resourcefulness is endless when it comes to building a simple house. Alfred wants more than that, because he's thinking ahead. He wants easier access. He wants it so that if he is ever in a wheelchair, I know some people think this way, if he is ever in a wheelchair, it would have to be wheelchair friendly for the house, so that he could go in there and he could wheel straight in, and there's no steps or staircases or anything like that. And I understand that viewpoint. But Nanay has to consider 10 siblings. Right? Beth is the youngest. She is the baby of 10. She's the baby in 10 brothers and sisters. 4 sisters and the rest are brothers. So, Nanay is stretching herself in an act of great generosity, but she's also navigating a very clear-cut minefield, shall we say, a minefield of choices as far as land goes. And that one is close to the road, it's close to the bridge, it's close to, it has an open view, which was what the piece of land that was in further didn't have a view. And Alfred has this dream of having a porch that looks out onto a view, very simply, very similar to the one that Lena's house, or Lena's little house that is being used by Talia. She walks out of the front door there, and the view is the same one that I usually video the sunsets from. So it's a nice view, and understandably Alfred is reluctant to give that up. Well, I'm sorry, but playtime's over, Alfred, and we've got to be sensible and realistic. And we're actually trying very hard. Nanay is trying very hard. Rado is trying very hard to accommodate you. And there is a way of doing things, and they know how to do them here in the Philippines. In the Philippines, people know how to live in the Philippines. So listen, look and learn, and you'll just be fine. So thanks for listening. Bye for now.